In this lesson, we will talk about different operators and three of the conditional statements in the C# language, the if, else, and else-if statements. So now let's get started with the arithmetic operators, and the first one, which is the addition. Here it is. And what it can do? Well, it adds one value to another and makes the result based on the two values. So that makes this operator. Then we have the subtraction operator. And what it makes? Well, subtracts one value from another one and makes the result based on that. Then we have multiplication. And what it does? Well, it multiplies the values which we want to multiply. So that's the third operator. Then we have division. And it divides one value by another one and makes again some result of the division. Then we have the modulus operator, which returns a division reminder as a result. Then we have the increment operator, which increases by 1. When we use the increment operator, that what we do to some value is that we increase it by 1. And the decrement operator makes the opposite. It decreases by 1 the current value where we want to decrease. All of the operators are usable in the language and you have to know them. Pretty much that is for the arithmetic operators. Now let's continue with the other type operators. Now we have the comparison operators. And here the first operator is this, which means equal to. Is it that equal to? So when you want to use it, you should know that it finds the answer which should be true or false of that is the one value equal to the other value. And it depends on their values. Let's say we have is 7 equal to 5? No. So we have false. But if we say, is it 7 equal to 7? Well, now we have true. The next comparison operator is the not equal one, which again return true or false based on that if the value is not equal to it. If it's not, so it return true. If it is equal 1 to 1 Then we have false. Example, again, if we have, is it 7 not equal to 5? Definitely so, true. Then we have the greater than comparison operator, which against finds out if the one value is greater than the other. And if it is, we have true. Otherwise, we have false. Then we have this operator, which is greater than or equal to. And if it is greater, the first value, if it is greater than the other, we have true. But if it is equal to the other, again, we have true. And yeah, we have true. But if it, let's say, the first value is not bigger than the other, but is also not equal to the other, well, we have definitely false. Now we have less than, which is the opposite of greater, and the less than or equal to, which is the opposite of greater than or equal to. It works on the same logic, and but of the opposite way. We have if the first value is smaller than the other, and in this case we would have true, or it is equal, or it is equal, we also will have true. And that is pretty much about the comparison operators. Here are the logical operators. They're used to determine the logic between variables or values. And first of all, we have the logical AND operator. That is the AND. And it returns true, or if both statements are true. And then we have the OR logical operator, which returns true if one of the statements is true. And then we have the NOT logical operator, which reverses the result and returns false if the result is true. We're gonna see how they work in some task. They're important to remember because you're gonna use them most of the time. So that was about the logical operators. Now I'm gonna show you some assignment operators. So first we have this operator, which is, for example, I will give you, let's say, a is equal to 4, which is same as a is equal to 4. Here we get no difference. Then we have this operator, which it is used like this, but that is for short of this. a is equal to a plus 4. Then this operator, which works as the same as the previous, okay? And we have a, and that is the same as a is equal to a minus 4. Sorry, 4. You can use that, which is short of this. We have also this operator, which is the short syntax of you can have also that. Let's see. Example, and which is for short of that are the most common assignment examples in like operators, and you reuse them. It is good to make your code shorter using them. Now, about the if statements. If is used when we want to specify a block of code to be executed if some condition is true. And the syntax is this: if some condition it's true, we have those curly braces, and inside them we have the code which should be executed if the condition which we give inside the first inside the brackets, well, this would be executed. The code which should be here. And that's pretty much about the if statement. So it specify a block of code. Here is the block of code. And this block of code would be executed if the condition is true. If it is false, that's not gonna be executed. And I'll give you an example. Let's say here we have first number, which should be equal to 10, and then we have second number, which is equal to 5. Now, if our first number is greater than the second one, we have this operator. Then the block of code which I would put here is, let's say that I'm gonna print the bigger number, which should be the first one. And if the first number is greater than the second number, then it would be printed on the console. The first number would be printed on the console. And is it true? Well, it is. 10 is greater than 5. So if I start the program, we're expecting to see 10 on it. So let's try out this. So what we have? We have 10, and that is what we expected to see. So that works. And now I think you have a basic idea of that, how if the if statement will work. And now if you use the not operator, let's say we put here, what we would see on the console? Nothing. And that is the right answer, because we have, if the first num is not greater than the second one, which is false, because the first number is greater than the second one. So when the condition here is it not returns true, then we don't go inside this block of code, and we just go on the other line, on the other lines. And if here I have console write line or the first number, and again start the program, we will see the 10 on the console. And that is because when the condition is false, we just continue with the other parts of our code. And here it is, the 10. So about the else statement, specify a block of code to be executed if the same condition is false. What means that? Well, let's have that the first number is bigger, is not bigger. Let's make that false. And then here we are gonna use the else statement, on which you just put the curly braces. there is no condition, because what here we receive as false. If the condition is false, it automatically goes here, and you don't have to look if it is a false or not, because it's false. That's not true. So here we can again write some code to be executed if this is false, and in this situation it would be false. So what we'd want here, well, let's say that we want to print the first number. And now let's see what would happen. And we have 10. And where we have 10, it is simple. Because here we see if the first number is not equal to the is not greater than the second number. And is that true? No, it is false. Our first number is greater than the second one, so we won't go inside those braces, these curly braces, because the condition here is false. And when the condition is false and we want to print some result, we should use the else statement, which don't need some condition. It just know that the previous one is false when it is not executed the code inside the first statement. So we go to the else statement, and it takes the false result, which we have, because when this is false, well, we have the false result. So we're gonna go inside the else statement's curly braces and execute the block of code inside them. The console write line first number, and we print the first number. And that's about the else statement. If you want to put, here's some condition. Let's say if second number is smaller than the first. You would have an error. So if you want again another condition, you should use the other third statement, which is else if. And the names of the statements really can help you to remember them, because it's obvious. If that is true, makes that. Else makes that. Else if some condition, do that. So now let's say So the right syntax is, first we have if, then we have else if. If we want to have else if, it's not necessary with the condition and the curly braces, and then we have the else. We of course can use only the if statement. We can use if and else, or we can use if and else if. It is up to you and the task you have. So now, else if, let's say, the first number is greater than the second number. Or the first number is equal to the second one. Then print the first number plus the second number. And here we would have addition, not the concatenation, because I told you about the concatenation, but here we have numbers, not just text. So now let's say that I would change that to 5, and what would happen? Five. Oh, because the first because the first statement is false. We receive false, and that's why we are printing 5. Let's say here we are not gonna use the total because it was like is it 5 not greater than 5, which is false, and that's why we go inside the curly braces and print the second. Now we should receive the second statement's result. So we are waiting to see then on the console. And that's what we have. We have 10. And that is because so if first name is greater than the second number, then you should print the second number. But is it 5 bigger than 5? No. So we have false. And the if statement works with true. If the statements returns true, then you go inside the curly braces and execute the code inside them. But when we have false, because 5 is not greater than 5, then we go and look if our second statement, which is the else if, based on the condition we give to it, if it is true, we execute the code inside the else if statement. If it is false, we go to the else statement. Because we don't have another check. You can put how many you want else if statements. First of all, you have if, then else if. You can have 5 else if statements. It is based on what you want to do. And then the last is the else. That is the syntax, if you want to use the 3 components of it. But you can't use first the else, then the if, first else, then else if, and last else. And now, when the first condition is false, then we go to the else if statement and check if this condition is true. Is it the first number? Is it 5 greater than 5? False. But we have the operator or, and the second check is about if the first number, 5, is equal to the second number, which is again 5, and that returns true. So when we're using the OR operator, if the first condition is false or the second condition is false, it don't matter. There has to be some condition which returns true, and if there is, like in the example, first number is equal to the second one, then we're gonna execute the code inside the else if block. So we're gonna execute this part, this line, which is console write line, the first number plus the second number, and 5 plus 5 is equal to. So that is what we have sent on the